You probably think that starting a project while juggling school, a 9 to 5, or a tight budget is impossible. I get it. I felt the same way. Everywhere I looked, there was some expert with his pricey setup telling me how easy it was to start. Meanwhile, all I had was an idea and a little bit of free time. But after years of trial and error, something finally clicked. And now I'm able to juggle all the responsibilities of living alone, pursuing an acting career, creating videos, and still having a social life and a low time, all because I learned how to make my time and money count. In this video, I will show you exactly why starting a project will change your life, how to start even with just 1 hour a day, and I'll give you a list of project ideas that you can start on right away, no matter your time, money, or skill level. You can become one of those people who made their projects their full-time career. But first, why work on a project at all? Well, you might think, working on a project will probably make me somewhat better at whatever it is I'm doing, but it can be way more than that. Here are my top 3 reasons why a project will improve your life. Here are my top 3 reasons why. Is that what I sound like? Being someone that works on something that they actually care about makes you way more attractive and interesting socially and romantically. If you fully engage into your project, all of a sudden you will always have something to talk about with people, and there will be no more of these weird silences when somebody asks you, "What did you do today?" And you're like, "What did I do today?" Or, as a more introverted person, it can help you find those few truly meaningful connections that can last for a lifetime. And if that's not motivating, then I don't know what is. What do you want? Now, this is normally the one people care about the most. You will open doors that you didn't even know existed. You will create income streams, more income streams. Or you could do a whole 360 in your career. You have no idea who could possibly see your work. And maybe they say something like, "Hey, I saw your work, it was kind of cool. I have this thing planned. Do you want to work there?" And then they refer you to somebody else, and that person refers you to somebody else, and all of a sudden you're a photographer for fantasy events on a cruise ships. Maybe. I have had moments where I got a job I applied to or an apartment because somebody saw my YouTube video, and then they would say something like, "Hey, I saw your YouTube videos. I thought you were kind of cool. Do you want to have the job?" And that just reminded me that the world doesn't work the way we think it does. So much, even nowadays, is decided very subjectively. If you have 2 people applying for a job and they're both similarly qualified, but one of the people you like, who do you think is gonna get the job? I hope I don't have to emphasize that most of these things will probably boost your confidence and mental well-being. Instead of dreading every day and drowning in your brain rot, you will have something to look forward to. You will have this sense of meaning that you get when you work on something you care about, that people normally lack in their regular jobs. Now that we figured out why you should start a project, let's look at what normally stops people from making cool stuff and how to overcome it. There are normally 3 main problems that occur when people want to start making cool stuff. No money, no time, no skill, no friends, For me, cooking is one of the best examples to show you how to overcome these problems. Because unlike woodworking, you don't need any tools or much space. And most of us have to do cooking anyways, and the entry level is not that high. When I moved out, I started as a complete beginner. I was living off the driest, saddest pasta known to mankind. If food could be depressed, my meals were. So I knew I had to change something. That's a little trick on the side, by the way. Start with a project that has something to do with your actual life right now, because that's gonna make it much easier since you don't have to create a time slot where you have to be in a completely different mind space. But here is where I face the first problem. Impossible. I know nothing about cooking, and I'm supposed to make a meal for an entire week now. But then I started thinking, okay, what is the least amount of work that I can do that will bring me a step forward? So you cut out all that is unnecessary, all of it, to do the few things that really matter. So then what I had to do was pick a dish that I can make for the entire week, buy some backup food because I need some time to make the dish and I still need to eat something, and just make the dish. And then I just had to pick a playlist or a podcast, set a timer, and just start doing these things. And even just 45 minutes a day can lead you so far and are more than enough. And that seemed manageable. And you will make more time to learn things if the project is really important to you. If by any chance you have an abundance of time, first, I cannot relate. Second, of course it will be easier to now find some space somewhere to do your project, but then the harder part sometimes is dedicating actual time. So that's what I would recommend if you have so much time at hand. But if you say, no, I have no time, I'm so busy, then I want you to do either one of two things. Or both. Actually, do both. Trust me. Start tracking your time for a week using a fancy little time tracker like this. I don't know if you can read that because it's in German. But what you do is you just track your time for a week and then you ask, where does my time actually go? And it doesn't have to be super accurate to the second, but you will see the numbers will speak for themselves and then you can adjust accordingly. I want you to take out your phone and look for the settings of screen time, and you know where this is going. And then I just want you to watch and look out for the apps TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, YouTube, whatever it is. Just watch what it says. And then ask yourself again, do I have some time? And if you have more than, let's say, 3 hours of screen time a day, you definitely have some time. I just checked mine. It says 2 hours 30, which is more than I thought, to be honest, because that's almost a part-time job I'm doing on the side, just being on my phone. So think about that. Because here's one thing I realized, and I have to be a little bit more serious about this because it's really important. I know it's really hard to find time, but anything that you don't work on regularly right now will also not happen in the future. I mean, how would it? Whatever it is that you do day to day will be what you will be doing day to day. If you never have time to write at the moment, how could you possibly suddenly have so much time to write and become a writer that writes for hours? It doesn't make sense. The key is to focus on the things that really matter, that really push the needle forward, and cut out all the other fluff. So to start, all I needed to do was to buy a new current KA7000 mixer food processor multifunctional kitchen robot with guided recipes, 12 special cooking functions, and a touchscreen display. That was a joke, by the way. You really don't need any fancy tools or equipment. Of course, some of those tools can make some of the learning faster or more enjoyable, but you can just start with what you have. And you can add to your collection, putting some money to the side every once in a while, even just as little as $5. I mean, just look at the very first YouTube videos I made. This was recorded on the back camera of a freaking iPhone 5 or something. Terrible audio, terrible quality, but it was a start. And then this video, come on, I literally don't even have hair. Like, what the hell is this video even? But now look at it, looks so much better, no? Especially at the beginning, when you're still trying to figure out if this project is even something you like. I would highly recommend not buying the high-end gear or the tools or thinking that, oh, I can only start if I have this or if I create that space and so on. Having limitations, of course, often makes the process more challenging, but also way more rewarding. And it can even lead to better ideas since it cuts out so much of that analysis paralysis, which is such an amazing word for such a sucky problem. Because now, instead of asking myself, what possible sauce could I make for this dry chicken wrap from all the options in the world, I just ask myself, okay, what kind of sauce can I make with whatever I have at home right now? because I didn't have the budget to go grocery shopping again, nor the time, nor did I want to. So I just opened the fridge and I saw sriracha and yogurt, and I knew we had some spices, so I just started mixing that up. And not only did it make the chicken wrap 10 times juicier, but now I also know how to make a sauce for the next time. If by this point you're still saying, no, I really don't have a single dollar to spare for this project, to buy a stack of paper so I can finally write the book I wanted to, then I ask you to reframe it like this. Where's the money, however much that is for you at the moment, where is it going? And all you need to do to figure that out is open your banking app and just watch. And be completely honest with yourself. Maybe it's like $3 here for coffee, $5 here for something else, $2 for snacks, $10 for decoration. Just watch. I didn't realize myself how big of an impact those little purchases can have until I looked at it myself. Because I had this thing that every Sunday after my sports session, I would get a soda for $2.50. And then one time I sat down and I was like, $2.50 a week, $10 a month, it's $120 a year. Wait a second. Do you know what you can get with $120 a year extra? I could have probably bought that freaking sauce for my dry chicken wraps. Or you can buy a decent mic so you can start with your YouTube ideas. And here's a list of other things that you can get with $120 extra a year that could easily help you start your project or whatever it is that you want to do. And I don't mean for you to cut out every single thing that brings you joy, or never go eat outside again, or never give yourself a reward, because you're not supposed to be a dictator to yourself.
Okay, you know what? Let's just agree to disagree, my friend. Okay.
If you need a reward, so you go to the gym at all, then buy that freaking soda for $2.50 and go to the gym. What I mean is watch where your money goes and ask yourself, do my money spendings reflect who I am? And do my money spendings reflect my values? If that is not the case, then save that money and invest it in something more worthwhile. Now, this last problem is somewhat trickier because I have to admit that it's not easy to not compare yourself with others these days. We are connected to the entire planet and we tend to look at results rather than the work that was put in. So, innocent as we are, we go on YouTube and we look for a tutorial, and then we see someone with a level of skill that we could probably never achieve. And then that kills all our ambitions. So literally, that's the bar. Me, a beginner, with my sad, depressed chicken wrap, comparing it to Joshua Weissman's homemade, juiciest birria queso tacos. Good luck with that strategy. Now here's a different approach. If you want to learn how to make cool shit, first, you will have to make just shit. Because here's the thing, we don't learn by thinking so much about something. We learn by engaging with something. You have to talk about it, you have to fail at it, you have to actually do it. And then this is what happens. Yesterday, you knew nothing. Today, you know how to make a chicken wrap. Doesn't have to be the best one, but now you know how to make a chicken wrap. And then tomorrow, you know how to make a chicken wrap with sauce. And that learning compounds. And all of a sudden, you will know so much more than when you started. But you will have to let your ego aside and accept that first you will have to be a beginner and just start. I hope by now we cleared that you really don't need perfect conditions to start, or a lot of money, or fancy tools. You just need to start. So, as promised, to get things rolling, here is a list of projects that you can start with right away. I rank them because I like to rank stuff based on accessibility, cost, and output potential. Tier 1 projects are highly accessible, low cost, and require little to no tools, such as writing, drawing, photography, sketching, and all that kind of stuff. Higher tier projects are or need a little more investment or skill or tools, but they offer greater output potential, such as videography, app development, or handmade jewelry. The entire list, as always, is down below. If you still feel like it's too hard to start or the perfectionist in you is already crying, then make sure to check out my upcoming videos that I didn't make yet, but I will, definitely. Because how am I supposed to have the next video already? Like, I just made this one. How am I supposed to have the next video already? Doesn't make sense, but make sure to stick around.